We'll be live. Nipsey Hussle, birthday, spirituality, and woke celebrities. All right, all right. We should be live now in the building with the blue pill on this full moon. Does this full moon have a name? You know, they have names.
This is the ancestor full moon.
Oh, this real? Or you just
I think they
that?
calling it the wolf full moon and the ancestor full moon.
Damn.
Yeah, it's definitely designated as such. They got a few names for it. Not the strawberry, but it might be like the blackberry. You might want to Google that.
Oh, they said blueberry moon.
Blueberry.
Oh,
okay. For the crib.
Blueberry. Thank you.
The blueberry moon
now
for
you
neighborhood.
said,
So they calling this the Nipsey moon. This is the National Nipsey Day, and they have repropositioned this moon. They're calling it the Nipsey moon.
The Nipsey moon.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's fire right there.
Yeah, you got me scared to kill mosquitoes in here. I don't know. Shit might be the ancestors. Like, I'm just gonna behave. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. Peace to the chat. Peace, love, and light. Peace, y'all.
All right, we about to get started. We play these ads, family. Make sure you support these brothers and sisters. And me and Blue Pill will be right back. Make sure y'all go buy that Holy Ghost 2 album, family.
Give them the address.
Exclusive USB album, www.blackmagicmusic.com.
And you got to explain to them that it's spelled a particular way.
Yeah, magic is spelled with a K. But it's the first ad. You're going to see it on the ad. They got a mini documentary with Blue Pill, Red Pill, Dr. Valentine, Loaded Lux.
Check that out.
It's the album
Shout out to
instrumentals.
Lux.
Yeah.
Gray Hoodie Lux.
Lux just dropped his album too. Talk Dirty 2.
Wolf like Liam Nielsen. Yeah. Shout out to Gray Hoodie Lux.
Yeah,
go get that. Lux. Go get that project for real.
All right, we'll be right back, family.
I remember when life was better. I remember like I've been alive forever. I remember being born in abundance you'll never measure. Predecessor from the epicenter, the genetic mecca. I'm a representative of the metal netter. You dead if you never met her. The devil he never better. I protect the treasure than the present center. Kemetic was never desert. Do the rain dance, make the weather wetter. A crown is a head antenna. Call me Imhotep, the architect. I'm clever. Break a temple down and put it back together. I remember I was royalty. From the soil where the oil be. Never let the bigger man in me grow from the little boy in me. Been a victim of my loyalty. Let my ego kill the joy in me. That's what ended up destroying me. I forgot the Lord anointed me. I forgot that I was God. I forgot that I was free. I forgot that I was king of the jungle until I remembered I'm me. She forgot that she was God. She forgot that she was free. She was stuck up in this slumber so long she forgot she was ever.
All right. We are back.
Chill.
Let me get Blue Pill back on the screen. Blue, man, we got a good show tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, Blue Pill's back on the screen now. All right, everything should be set up good. All right, family. So, what's going on in the chat room, family? How y'all doing tonight on this blueberry full moon? Everybody's all right on the blueberry full moon? Everybody's good? Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it, Kendrick. I appreciate it. Yes, King of the Jungle.
That's the type of track you play on an evening like tonight on this ancestor full moon. You know what I'm saying? You get your candles.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? You roll something. You know, make sure that you feed the ancestors a little bit of libation. You know, think about granddaddy and grandmommy. You ain't got to get that deep. Or your moms or whatever. Sit a plate out. Put something beside something that they like. You dig what I'm saying? Turn the lights low. Put that King of the Jungle on. You know what I'm saying? So you can tap into that ancestral memory. Remember who you are.
I remember.
Chill.
I got my identity back. Yo, Blue.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Blue, we gonna talk about Nipsey Hussle tonight.
Indeed.
Like I said previously, we've done several shows on the brother and his moves, his music, not only his music, but his moves within his community.
Yes.
You see everybody on Instagram celebrating his birthday, honoring him.
Yeah, Snoop just dropped a monumental track. Shout out to Snoop Dogg for, you know, echoing the sentiment of unity and oneness. You know what I'm saying? That was brave. And yeah, we continue to see the ripples of that particular wave, you know, that was sent out across the world on March 31st. You know, a lot of positive has come from that. So, you know, yeah.
What's your thoughts on? I mean, it's been a couple of months since he made a transition. Do you see a change within the collective psyche of the hip hop culture? Do you see any growth?
Yeah, it's not immediate. You know what I'm saying? You know, we did witness an immediate effect, you know, of people. You know, that's kind of like a knee-jerk effect. You know what I'm saying? We saw more of an immediate effect of people taking a step back and they saying, you know, we need to curb the violence and unity, and, you know, people resonated with his message of ownership. You know, I think if nothing else, that conversation continues to reverberate, you know what I mean, and connect and touch people, where people are talking about ownership and people are talking about entrepreneurship, you know. But in terms of, not for me, you know, I got on glasses, but in terms of stemming the tide of violence in the music, you know what I'm saying? Like, battle rap is still battle rap. You know what I mean? You know, Vlad is still landing exclusives with Keefy D and them sitting up there talking about how they killed Pac. You know what I'm saying? So the culture still has an appreciation for murder, death, kill, homicide. That, like I said, it stems more back to our societal issues and our societal collective psyche. You know what I mean? And there's going to be a momentary lull in that activity, but it's going to be back to business as usual. Just like from what I understand in the streets of Los Angeles, it's back to business as usual. Bodies are still dropping at an unprecedented amount. But we're thankful that we were able to get a glimmer or a glimpse of what things could be like, you know, if we held the charge. You know what I'm saying? What I always say about melanated people, they're good to create a spark, but they can't hold a charge. You know what I'm saying? So what are they directly being charged with? You know what I'm saying? It has to be somebody that continues with that. You know what I'm saying? To charge them with, look, you're charged with unity. You're charged with holding this together. You're charged with protecting these babies. You're charged with making sure that this community is safe for these melanated women. You're charged with redirecting that anger towards people who deserve that smoke. You dig what I'm saying? You're charged with opening your eyes and really seeing, you know what I'm saying, who your adversaries are and where the real threat is coming from. You know, that hasn't been followed up. You know what I mean? So expectingly, the people have gone back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? The people have fall back into their creature comforts. You know, that's what I see for the most part. But it's also worth noting, you know what I'm saying, because time has elapsed. And I remember the day that the brother, maybe not the day that he made transition, but the next day when I made my statement on Instagram that some people received very well and other people didn't. You know what I mean? I was like, look, you know, let's fall back and just give this a moment before we jump into the conspiracy theories, out of respect for the family and also our master teachers, taught us, right? And that's for the people who have master teachers. So I'm not speaking, you know what I'm saying, to everybody, because everybody don't share that particular designation. But I remember our master teachers told us to fall back, collect the news, you know what I'm saying, see what's being said out there or what have you, and then you can make an assessment, because the news is always going to mess up. You know what I mean? The stories are not going to match. There's going to be inconsistencies. Look for the inconsistencies. You know, if nothing else, follow the money, follow the paper trail. Make sure that, you know, you have an idea of what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're up close, like if I'm looking at, take for instance, One World Plaza, which is the new World Trade Center. You standing in front of it, you know what I mean? You're just looking at a tall building. But when you step back and you get into the street, you can see that it's actually, the architects has designed it to be like a pyramid. You know what I'm saying? So you can't initially, when your nose is this close to a topic or a subject, you're not going to see everything. It's impossible, right? Even with the Epstein situation, like, look, even with the Jay-Z situation, we was here the other night and the news just broke, and we made initial statements and people said, look, y'all giving Jay a pass. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, we don't have all the information. We did a lot of speculating, right? Which is not cool at the end of the day. But it was a very friendly conversation. We were just throwing ideas back and forth, but it wasn't necessarily reporting because we didn't have the news. You feel me? So you got to fall back and you got to take a moment and you got to step back, and then you could have a broader, wider, more clearer focus of what's going on. So in the months that have passed during the brother's passing, you know, a lot of information has come out. We've been able to compile all sorts of different accounts to give a broader idea and perspective of how deep this rabbit hole goes, you know. And I don't know whether it's just like when somebody makes an untimely transition and they blow the lid off a lot of things, so there just be a whole smorgasbord of things that you can point at and look at to be like, damn, that's interesting. That don't make sense. That's not consistent with what's said over here. It's, you know, you can have you can create an organizational flow chart of a who's who with this murder mystery. You know what I'm saying? Speaks to a lot of things. It unveils a lot of things which, you know, we shouldn't be afraid to have conversations about, such as ownership and control, such as estates versus trusts, such as, the larger narrative that goes into empowering your consortium, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to doing business with people that you're not seeing with every day. You feel me? Like, if you my homies and I'm riding with you and I'll die for you and I'll kill for you, but not put you in a position of power, you know what I'm saying, or not put you in a position where I can relinquish certain things to you in the time of my demise. If I'm charging you once again with saying, look, I need you to make sure that my whiz is okay if something happened to me, because we riding, right? I'm frontlining for y'all. I'm dying for you. I need you to make sure that my babies is good. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm successful. I'm doing business, but I can't put none of this business in your name. You can't really, none of your name is on none of my business. We can't do no good business with one another. Right? I'm sacrificing. I'm doing everything that I can to change the image of our neighborhood and create opportunities for you. You know what I'm saying? But you can't take this ride with me at the end of the day. So we found out that things are not as they appear to be. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done. You feel me? A lot of shit just look good. But when you lift the motherfucking the cover and the roof, you gotta change. You gotta hit the camera. You know what I'm saying? When you lift the hood up, you know what I mean? There's rust in the engine. You know what I'm saying? The exterior looks so pretty, it's so polished, but there's rust in the engine. You know, and we'll never know why certain things were the way that they were. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily for us to know. These are life lessons. These are teaching moments that you're supposed to internalize and make sure that your house is in order and your ship is ready to sail. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we shouldn't be so invested in and so enthralled in other people's business and activities necessarily. It's just for us, right, to it's for us to tweak our own consciousness, to be like, damn, I need to be conscious of that in my own personal affairs. I need to make sure that the people around me are in position to play their parts, rather than just me having homies or hanger-ons. Like, we too old for that. So, yeah, you know what I mean? I was able to extract a lot of life lessons from what we saw. You know what I'm saying? I also was able to appreciate the fact that for a glimmer of time, for a moment, my people were able to snap out of the spell of what we call white Christianity, for lack of a better term, and entertain the possibility of a messianic force or presence amongst them. You know what I'm saying? Our people were able to ascribe a different description of what Christ energy looks like, Christ consciousness looks like in this day and time, when your nana has prepared you all of your life to be ready, to be looking, to be waiting for his arrival. You dig what I'm saying? But never telling you what that's supposed to look like, never telling you where it's necessarily coming from. Whether we talking about a mythos or whether we're talking about something that's actual or factual, this is how people live their lives. Entire civilizations have been built and constructed around these notions and these theories. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'll ask you again, what's today's date? Right? The way that you keep your time. Right? Whether that's the clock or the calendar, all of those things are directly affected by this Christ narrative that we are living under. So we're participants, whether we want to admit it or not. So why don't we just step back and say, damn, for a minute, the people woke up for a real quick second. You know what I'm saying? And they was able to at least not give the credit to Caesar Borgia, because you don't have no alternative images in your mind and your consciousness about how this shit's supposed to look. You feel me? So if the brother did not live up to your standards of what Christ means to you, or what the fucking Jesus figure is supposed to be like, right? Because he got dirt underneath his fingernails. You dig what I'm saying? For the people, for the little homies, you know what I'm saying? For the people who, got a wild body count, but they still go to church and they just trying to make sense of this shit same way that you are. You know what I'm saying? It meant something. You know what I mean? It meant something. So, I was just appreciative of the fact that in my lifetime, I got to see some of these things. You know what I'm saying? In my lifetime, I got to see, not only for myself, but for other people that look just like me and come from where I come from. We got to see, a brother who was able to visualize, right? Because like I said, when I was around Nipsey in 08 and 09, all of the majority of things that we're talking about in 2018 and 2019, he had planned all of that stuff back then. So I was able to see somebody push through adversity, you know what I'm saying? Unprecedented adversity, just coming from that neighborhood, let alone, all of the pressure that comes from the police. Now we understand from the city council, you know what I'm saying? The whole city of Los Angeles, but you got the city on your back, so it's the tales of two cities aspect, that you the people's champ, you fighting for the people, you're inspiring the babies, you know what I'm saying? But the politicians want you up out of there because they have a protracted plan for your area that goes 10, 15, 20 years down the line, where they're thinking about their children's children and how they're going to fill their coffers up with $1 billion in the long run. So these are like the tales is like Shakespearean at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I know that it meant more than we are realizing, because we're still right here with it. You feel me? And yes, I don't feel no way about acknowledging that. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel no way about us championing that sentiment earlier on to be like, look, family, this is something that we need to pay attention to. This is just not another dead rapper. You understand? And as well as the portal that he was able to open up for Dr. Sabi finding out about children that he didn't even know about, goddammit. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, look at the portal that he opened up. Look at the lanes that he opened up. You know what I'm saying? You got people that Sabi didn't even fuck with that are eating now. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? Munching off of that meal. Family members that he didn't even deal with or know about that have figured out a way to ride this shit into the sunset. So, yeah, you know, that was one hell of a sacrifice.
Wow, man. Before I get into the question, I want to thank Isaiah Bryant for donating $20 to the Cash App. Also,
shout out to Isaiah. That's amazing.
Newport to the News also for donating $1 to the Cash App.
Shout out to Empress B444. I know you out there somewhere. We love you.
Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. As y'all know, I'm banned from Super Chat. So in order to support the program, the live stream, you will have to go to the Cash App. I just posted it in the in the chat room.
Make mention of it though.
Yeah.
What's the Cash App address?
$$
Black Magik 363.
Right.
And that's Magik with a K. So
exactly.
$ Black Magik 363. So y'all can hit that up. What I want to ask you, Blue.
Yes, brother.
Is you know, some people have different views of spirituality.
Yes.
And when they look at Nipsey's life, some people, and they see the way he died, you know, a tragic ending.
Or they see the way that he lived his life as well. Yes.
Or they see the way he lived, and they may say, "Oh, that's karma coming back to get him." He used to be a gang member.
He was a gang member. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
yes.
he did a lot of shit in his past. So that shit, you know, it may not come when you think it's gonna come, but it's gonna come back to get you.
It's gonna come.
So some people look at it as, regardless of how he was trying to change his life, he still had some karmic debt that he had to pay for. Others, like Panic, may have a totally different view on karma.
Yeah, shout out to Panic.
What's your take on this this whole karma situation, and people in situations like Nipsey who have done dirt in the past, but they are growing and maturing spiritually
Right.
and physically?
I mean, it's interesting that he would name his project the Marathon. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's kind of the same concept with karma. Can you outrun karma? You know what I'm saying? Is karma the best marathon runner out there? You know? So I don't think that karma impacts everyone the same way. Right? I was having this conversation earlier with myself, actually. You know what I'm saying? Attempting to make sense out of certain things. Like, so karma doesn't catch up with white folks, right? They're impervious to karma. You dig what I'm saying? You know, these billionaires that's drinking blood and eat. I mean, maybe they got the cheat code. Maybe they figured something out. Maybe there's a blood elixir that will help you sidestep and curtail, you know, the quick pace of karma. You understand? So, yeah, I do acknowledge the existence of karma, but I don't think that it applies to everybody in the same way. According to my human design, I was told that I'm impervious to the karmic cycle. You know what I'm saying? Even though I've had some things happen to me that I had to chalk it up to be like, yo, that's karma. You know what I mean? But karma doesn't affect everybody the same way. I heard those sentiments at the time. This nigga's a gangbanger. You know, he done dirt. You know, because many people might not be familiar with the initiation protocol of some of these street organizations, in particular the Rolling 60s Crips is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I know some things about the brother and what have you. So I know that he put in some work, he put some pain in. You know what I mean? And I can't sit here and say that I know for sure that that's what caught up to him. You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, like, you know, we all got it coming. You know what I'm saying? And by me saying we all, that doesn't encompass everyone that's in the chat or everyone that's on this planet. You feel me? But for all of us to have dirt underneath our fingernails, you know, yeah, clipping your nails is just not good enough. You know what I'm saying? You all got to come into you, you know, you better run a little bit quicker. You know what I'm saying? Pick up your pace. You feel me? Death is promised. You know what I'm saying? Death is promised. And you cannot run that. You dig what I'm saying? Like, nobody, it's not, Nike ain't come up with them shoes yet. You dig what I'm saying? So, even if this was karma coming back to sit this young brother down, you know, that's something that's hypothetical that we can't necessarily pinpoint and direct. We could speak on it to say, hey, you know, we've all done something that we would want to leave in our past, you know what I'm saying, and outrun or what have you. But, you know, that's even a better reason why you should never be idle in this world, because that shit'll catch up to you. You dig what I'm saying?
Now, as far as the karma, because, you know, this is something that, you know, people, it's an overused term. Any little thing that happens to somebody, yeah, karma's getting his ass. Yeah, karma. It's like people almost, they're too pussy to do something to you personally, so they're hoping something happens to you so they can say, yeah, that was karma that got you. That was karma that got you. But anyway, it's like some people just look at it as cause and effect, and some people attach morality to it. Do you think morality has anything to do with it, or is it like a personal guilt feeling where it may be wrong in your reality tunnel, and if you know it's wrong in your reality tunnel, then it will affect you? But you know, when you know better, you do better. So if maybe I didn't know that killing somebody was wrong because I grew up in a country where that's all we did. But if you grew up with knowledge of self and you did the same thing somebody did in a third world country, it will affect you in a different way.
Yeah, I think it's based on your indoctrination. Your indoctrination is going to determine whatever your agreement and your contract with your reality is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? For somebody that's not part of their reality, how can they, you know what I'm saying, bring that? Because ultimately, this is something that you're going to bring into your reality. What? Because it's on your consciousness, right? We are in charge of our reality. You dig what I'm saying? Like you was talking about earlier, based on the different fractals. You dig what I'm saying? So you have this concept, right, of this dogmatic religion that told you you're not supposed to kill. Right, murder's no good, or it's the number one sin, or whatever. You dig what I'm saying? So you got that shit in the back of your mind, and you're playing this out. And we live in a society where it's ghosts and apparitions and all types of shit. The door slam. You think, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna start spooking yourself out. You dig what I'm saying? But that doesn't, you know, everybody, that's not their reality. Everybody doesn't prescribe to that. You know what I mean? So are they not? You know, so they're not, you know, they don't fall under those same particular dictates. I don't think that reality catches up to them the same way. You know what I'm saying? Because I ask people, if that's the case, like, how is a country then able to recruit amongst the people who are part of these dogmatic systems, Christian and Muslim alike, enlist them in the army and send them to war to kill for this country, and church and state supposed to be separate? So how is the rule of law stronger, you know what I'm saying, than your religious laws, your laws and your commandments? How is this country able to get away with that? And it's supposedly Christian country that we live in, where church and state are separate, but the goddamn state is sending your ass to war to kill. Right? For national security against people who they say are a threat to the Christian order and stability of this country. So how is church and state separate?
Facts. That's real.
Right. These are the questions that we ask, you know what I'm saying, that rattle all of that confusion and noise in your head to be like, what? This shit makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, what are they feeding them on the battlefield that helps them curtail right? The cycle of karma from coming back. You know what I mean? What do they tell them in training to get that notion out of their mind?
Out of their mind, right.
Because they running down. You know what I'm saying? They got body counts. And they come back and then they got to get on psychotropics and drugs and what have you because some of them get haunted.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they have already been introduced to these concepts of karma. You feel me? But then there's other people that come from other countries that they use child soldiers and everything. Man, they just the most happiest, joyous people. They ain't thinking about none of that. They raising families. They smiling, laughing, giggling. So happy to be in America or what have you. You know what I mean? You can't conversate with them about, karma catching up to them. Like, cause that's not part of their contract.
Right. Yeah, that's some real stuff, man. When you look at Nipsey and you see all the love he's getting on social media, do you look at it as genuine love, or do you think this is a opportunity for somebody to?
I truly feel what I said and I stand by. I had a conversation with Choke recently, you know what I'm saying?
Choke no joke?
Yeah, shout out to Choke.
Oh, shit.
And one of the things that Choke was adamant about was he was like, yo, the love for Nipsey was manufactured, you know what I'm saying, by different players. I'm not even going to get into all of that, but, he was saying, look, this love was manufactured. It was marketing. And I said, that might be the case, you know what I'm saying, in some respects. But I'm like, the majority of what I look at seems to be genuine. I think that the brother had messianic energy. And let me qualify what I'm talking about, right? Somebody disabled, right, to save their people, right? And we're not talking about in the liturgical sense of what, people think that the church and all of that's about. I'm saying, yo, I come from amongst you, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to go to the proverbial mountaintop, right? Which in this particular case would be success. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to get the bag, be around influencers, you know what I'm saying, funnel certain funds back to my community. This young man who might pick up a rag at the age of 11 or 12 to follow me into the streets now has the option of saying, look, I can be a coder. Look, I can be a businessman. You know what I'm saying? I could do all of these things. So by you coming back and setting an example for your people, because I ask people all the time, right? In my search for meaning of this narrative that we live under, right? This Christianity and this narrative that we live under, I say, well, if Christ, if Jesus, whoever was to come back, and don't get literal with me, people, right? Because I'm talking to you in the same fantastical motherfucking voice that you've always been talked to. So if your Lord and Savior, if Christ was to come back, who would he come and see the most? Who would need his ministry the most in these particular streets that we call home, right? He would have to come to the hood. He would come to the places that a brother like Nipsey is from, where there's death, there's disparity, you know what I'm saying? There's despair. There's people with little to no hope, you know what I'm saying? These are the places that would need the most help. These are the places where if there was anyone on the planet that came with a redemptive quality or a messianic force, they would have to go into these places to lift these people up, right? Or like with the Moors call with Noble Drew Ali, uplifting fallen humanity. Well, where's fallen humanity at? We could find them in every hood, right? They're not necessarily in the ivory towers, right? They're not the fucking gentrifiers, okay? That are buying $1.5 million homes in the hood, right? These are the people that are downtrodden. These are the people who actually need the help and the assistance, right? So I'm saying that the brother, through his demonstration, regardless of the fact that he might have done dirt in the past, right? The whole aspect of a messianic force or Christ-like figure is someone who has redemptive qualities about themselves, right? The Bible was written by two people. Or Christian, let's say not even the Bible, because the Bible was written by one person or who was responsible for Christianity as we know it. But Christianity as we know it falls on the back of two people who were attributed with supernatural occurrences. One being Paul, right? Who went from Saul to Paul. He was a murderer. Okay? He was what you would call a gangbanger back in his day. You dig what I'm saying? He saw an apparition on the road to Damascus and he converted. And then you have Constantine, same story. He saw an apparition because he was an emperor. He was a murderer. He was a conqueror, right? He was a non-Christian. And then he had a supernatural occurrence. And then he converted as well. And he became the advocate of Christianity that would take Christianity to all four corners of the world through conquest, through empire, right? By the way of the sword. So if you could attribute both of those things to people who was murderers and who became converts and did the work of the Lord in the name of the Lord and were able to proselytize and spread Christianity to four corners of the planet, then how can't you see the fact that this young man with his level, whether it's a pinch of messianic force and energy and power within himself to go through the muck and the mire, you dig what I'm saying, in the proverbial fires of his own environment and to come out the other side of that refined, you dig what I'm saying? How is that situation in these days and times not to be looked at as triumphant enough to say, look, if the brother had a pinch of a messianic energy and force about himself, the fact that, yes, when he does get sacrificed and people are able to see this and to come into contact with his personage, they're like, yo, there's something about him, you know what I'm saying, that touches me and moves me and what have you. And that's what I'm seeing in regards to the way that people are receiving him. Oh, I didn't know his music. I didn't even know he existed. God damn it, it's a lot of messianic forces out here. It's a lot of people that are doing the work that you don't know that exists, right? That ain't no big thing. You caught up in what you caught up in. I get it. You dig what I'm saying? But the brother had an energy that's undeniable. And we was just talking about this earlier. If you have ever met him, if you have ever been in this brother's presence, if you have ever, had company with him, you would know what I'm talking about. But the fact that now, yes, after his death, after he's dropped, the facade, right, of the flesh, which is clothed and cloaked in blue, so only thing you see is gangbanger anyway. Only thing you see is face tats anyway. I've moved myself out of judging a book by its cover long time ago, right? With the Derek Graces of the world. You can't judge that man based on how he look. You feel me? He will smoke you with the information. You understand? So you can't run around here thinking that you can judge people or having a puritanical approach towards what people with that inner light supposed to look like, especially if you coming from consciousness and you telling me that we all got it, right? That's what you niggas is out here selling. You telling people, look, you all got it in you. You don't got to worship no motherfucking man on the cross because you all Christ. Oh, all of a sudden, no. Right? Nigga pop up with them attributes, you know what I'm saying, and you get in your feelings. Oh, how dare he? He has dirt underneath his fingernails. This is not the prototypical prototype of what we prescribe to be Christ-like and what have you. It's like, no, you got to redefine what these things actually mean and get yourself the fuck up out of church. That's all that means.
Church could just be American culture, huh? In terms of the holidays.
It's the confinement of Americanism. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a religion within itself. Yeah. So, we're just raised to look for one thing, and we don't ever challenge what that look is or what that one thing is. We just want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that in the Aquarian age when it's supposed to be the age of Christ consciousness. What is it supposed to look like? What is it supposed to feel like? You can't dismiss it. You dig what I'm saying? In place of what?
Right.
Right? In place of what? And I'm saying, because that's, niggas want to play the game of good and bad, good and evil, right? Then you got to play the game of God and the devil. You got to play the game of God and the devil. And you have to prescribe in your own reality, what is God? Okay? What is God? I'm just saying, you know, we saw the universe speaking the language that the universe speaks. You know what I'm saying? And there's always what's called what? A harbinger, a sign that comes before you actually seeing what you need to see or coming into the knowledge of what you need to come into the knowledge of, right? And it always marks the beginning or the ushering in of a particular age and time. So he didn't necessarily have to be the quote unquote one, because you waiting for the two anyway. You're waiting for the second. You're not waiting for the one, right? It's just a harbinger, it's a sign of the possibility that our people, for like I said, a second were able to entertain the possibility that amongst you lives somebody who has the power to change. That's what your asses ran to the polls for in 2008, to change, right? What you think? Obama wasn't running off of a messianic energy and message? Huh? Cloaked up in fucking politics? Come on now.
Speaking of messianic energy and influential people, for whatever reason, it's entertainers have become the leaders of the so-called leaders of the black community in terms of their impact and their ability to affect the way that we think.
Yes. Let's get to it.
We talked about Jay-Z the other day. We talked about this whole woke culture.
Yes, we did.
I remember when we since we're talking about Nipsey, I remember when Nipsey passed. No, not Nipsey. This is before Nipsey. The Gucci thing, when the Gucci thing went down. Yeah, and T.I. came out and was like, first Mayweather wore the Gucci, and then T.I. was like,
shattered on him, right?
T.I. was like, yo, we need to protest Gucci for 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, something like that. Then Brother Polite was clowning on him like, nigga, what the fuck is that gonna do? So after 6 months, I could wear Gucci again?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in the South. Gucci has made an unprecedented comeback, like.
So
right.
So when T.I. said that, people were kind of clowning T.I. like, yo, like these dudes need to stay out of that. Like they need to focus on entertainment and leave consciousness to the brothers and sisters that's really into that, in that field. What's your take on the entertainers? Because first we want the entertainers to have a certain level of awareness.
Up. You want them to be vocal. You want them to have awareness. You want them, hey, yo, I'm over here. Y'all see us? We waving. But your homie see me. You want to be seen. You want to be heard, right? And then, like we said, then they look and they make an assessment. And they like, oh, it's a bag. Oh, them niggas got $1 million behind them on the table that they don't even see. Oh, let's walk that walk and go and get it. Because this shit is not that hard. You know what I'm saying? To put, you know, because who ain't grow up with some limited exposure to what it is to talk that talk and walk that walk. So, yeah, you know, now they globally finessing. You know what I'm saying? But even going back to the messianic energy and the messianic force, you're talking about an individual who names themselves Hove, right? And attached itself to the energy of 444. Now, this is why this Law 44 lecture is so important that we still going to give to the Patreon family, because the gematria, the number in gematria for Messiah is 444. And the number for Jesus is 888. You dig what I'm saying? So you're talking about two individuals. When I was doing the Law 44 in 2012, I explained to people, you know, 832, I think, is Kemetic's number, which means the Prince of Peace. He has messianic energy. And every motherfucking body that I said, look, this person has this particular energy signature on them based on their numbers, right, has come out to become everything that I said that they was going to be 4 or 5 years before I said, 4 or 5 years back when I said it, and they have grown into that space and all of this shit. I got receipts and documents for. So now you have two of these individuals under this Law 44 energy that have met one another, you know, and it seems like they're adversarial, being Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z, right? And they're kind of wrestling for that position to say, who's going to be the spokesman of the people? Because now this is talking about leadership, right? Because this individual has positioned himself into politics to say what? We don't kneel no more. We're past that. That's a political statement.
Right.
Who told you you could say that? How are you speaking for the people?
For the people, yeah.
Who appointed you to this position to now be the spokesman of the people where niggas never seen you on the front line? Granted, you might have done some documentaries, but you telling people how they could protest versus how they can't no more? You dig what I'm saying? While you in the motherfucking corporate office like this? Yes, you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Charlamagne. Yeah, next question. Like, come on. The level of arrogance, like, even when people used to position themselves to take over your leadership and finesse it, they had to do it with a certain level of candor. Now these niggas is like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't even need to put on a facade. I don't got to put the suit on or nothing. I'm going to show up in motherfucking tank tops and sliders and finesse you niggas out of your motherfucking, your positions and your rights to have a voice in this conversation, right? He's not allowing people to have a voice in the conversation. They're muffling out people who were the loudest on the front line prior to him showing up. You dig what I'm saying? I don't agree with that. I can't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? But I understand it.
That's your 444 brother, though, man.
Like I said, I understand it. Right? And when I deal with the Law 44, I take all of my feelings out of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm taking my feelings out of it. I'm an observer, and I'm pointing and showing you how this shit is playing out. Yo, you know what I mean?
I seen an interesting video since we talking about, this is a little side note, since we talking about spirituality and Jay-Z. I was watching this, what's it called? When the Indians, they do these certain...
The mudras?
The mudras or whatever.
Yeah.
The dude was talking and he was like that. We don't understand, since we don't understand who we are, we don't understand how to channel cosmic energy. So he was saying that we are antennas and that we are basically, we're stardust, we're crystals. And crystals have the ability to ground energy, to get energy or whatever.
Hence why we wear the quartz, right?
So he was saying, and he was like an antenna. If you notice, back in the day when we had a TV, you had to put an antenna in a certain angle.
Facts.
And certain angles caught certain frequencies.
And
so
we would know that from our generation.
From our generation, yeah.
Yeah, we would
so
know
he
that.
said when you see people like Jay-Z throw up the diamond, that is what's that word? He's absorbing a certain frequency. Right. And when he has millions of people do it, there's power behind that. Right. So he was saying that's the reason why when you meditate, you're supposed to sit up straight, your spine erect, and you're supposed to, he was going through all these different mudras to do or whatever.
Yeah, send me that video.
But he crazy, right? But what you think about that? I mean, because sometimes we do things like, I'm sure the gang members don't know all that, that's actually some sacred geometry they doing.
Yeah, shout out to Supernova. But, he'll give you the metaphysics of the hand symbolism. Shout out to T. Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Because not too many people were present. They had a private meeting in Harlem in like 04, 05 in the Masonic Lodge. And T. Rogers came over here and I was present and he spoke to all of the gang leaders. This is when New York was really popping off with the blood shit. The Dipset was on a run. And he got in that room, a closed door meeting, right? And he explained to them that there's an esoteric meaning behind all of this gang information that has not been revealed to these younger brothers who are just picking up the rag thinking this shit is just cut and dry gang banging. And he explained to them that he was a Mason, and he explained to them that he started showing them the 45 degrees angles that they stand at, and the fact that I was in in a lodge at the time dealing with Moorish masonry. You know, I got invited to this particular gathering or this meeting, and he was giving it up. You know what I'm saying? All of that means something. It's all symbolism. It's all dealing with angles. It's all dealing with them channeling particular energies, crip walking and everything. So, you know, these are just ancient art forms resurfacing, remanifesting themselves on this particular plane. You know, what do I think about throwing it? The diamond is very esoteric. You know what I'm saying? The diamond is very esoteric, and he's definitely bringing in and channeling a particular energy. And when you have the multitudes of people doing it in unison and channeling it back towards you, you know, that's powerful. So like I said, I don't agree, but I understand, because I understand what sort of energy this individual is playing with, because I've been able to track it for so long and watch it manifest itself in so many different things. So it's gonna rupture, it's gonna split the people down the middle. But I think that, you know what I'm saying, he knows enough to know, look, I'm gonna have enough people to follow me on this, that it's gonna blow over in time. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna it looked like this might get ugly though. You know what I'm saying? It looked like this might get ugly.
What you mean?
In terms of how they split down the middle. Okay. You feel me? The people that are riding with us on our decision to go for the bag, because that's all this is, right? Straight up, unapologetic. They're not even trying to frame it other than that. He got his keywords that he know now. You know what I'm saying? This is my action item. You know, like we said the other day, social justice warriors, right? These are entire categories at this particular time. They have their own language that goes to it. They have their own corporate speaking points, and he's hitting every corporate speaking point that goes along with this particular position. You dig what I'm saying? Look, we're the Sharpton in the Jesse Jackson of today. We beat y'all to the bag. That's it. Because are we being led to believe that with my son and T.I. and Charlemagne and the rest of them doing on this side of wokeness, because now they splitting the woke shit down the aisle. It's splitting it in two. So are we being led to believe that what they're doing over there is not advocating in the long run to shake corporations down for the bag? You know what I'm saying? They're saying, oh, look, we're going to spread it to the multitudes. Dapper Dan and Jay-Z are saying, no, we're just going to keep it over here. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you still juggling for the bag. So,
Blue, is it? I mean, and I heard I keep Charlemagne. I mean, Dapper Dan was on Charlemagne. He said that when Red Pill interviewed him on 2 in Harlem, he said that he keeps talking about, you know, getting the bag from these corporations. He got to, you know, getting this bag from the corporations. Do conscious people, is the conscious community, for lack of a better term, trying too hard to focus on this idea of a Black Wall Street instead of shaking down corporations like the brothers in the woke, what we loosely call woke entertainment industries doing? Because they're like, yo, you got to get in these corporations and do it. We're like, it's not, build your own football league.
It's not even the Black, or consciousness is caught up in the concept of Black Wall Street necessarily. Consciousness is caught up in the concept of the people, right? That's what they caught up in the concept of. It's a very ambiguous term. You know what I mean? That people throw around a lot, but who are the people? Can you identify that? Is there a particular market research that designates what's the demographic? Where are they from? Where do they exist? You know what I'm saying? Can you galvanize them? Can you bring them out? How can we sell to them? Who are the people? That's a hell of it. It's like in the Constitution, we the people. Like who's the people? You know what I'm saying? Where these people, these other people that are jugging for the bag and actually breaking through, they're like, no, nigga, the individual and the corporation are gonna benefit, right? Dapper Dan and his company is the people in that he's concerned with, right? And they're gonna hire some niggas every now and then to throw him some money. And Jay-Z and Rock Nation is the people in the discussion that he's talking about. So they like, y'all keep getting caught up in the people. We are going to go into these meetings, you know what I'm saying, and come out with some bread and divvy that up amongst our people, right? That's the difference. And that's where consciousness got caught up at, and it kind of slowed them down for so long that everybody and everything else has blown past them because they've been too concerned with trying to identify the people, right? And only 100+ people show up to the elections anyway. So who are the people? The multitudes? Is it the magnitudes? Is it all of Black America? Because these niggas might be watching, but it's from one hell of a distance. You understand?
Do you think we have, we hear a lot about ownership now. That word is,
that's
talked about all over the
yes.
place. Do you think we have right now, we're witnessing a lot of brothers and sisters pretending to be owners? They're black faces for white companies.
Absolutely.
Like, say if I mention Oprah, they'll say, man, she don't own her own network. If I throw Diddy out there, they say, man, that nigga don't own Revolt.
Shout out to Byron Allen. I saw the interview.
So
He broke it down.
So that's what I'm getting to. So could you talk about that?
Yes.
The whole aspect of black faces.
Yeah.
I'm not saying these individuals per se, but black faces
let's get
for
into
white
it.
corporations.
Yeah. Not only white corporations, corporations, period. Jay-Z don't own Rock Nation, right?
Does he own a majority of? Does he have?
No, he's not a majority
Zuckerberg
owner. He's an employee. He's an employee of an employee because Rock Nation is a subsidiary under Live Nation, so he's an employee of Live Nation. But even in Rock Nation as a corporate structure, he's not the majority stakeholder. He's an employee of that company. He's the face of the company. Just like he's the face of 4040. He's not a majority stakeholder in the company. Nipsey Hussle, no disrespect to our brother, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't an owner in his LLC. He wasn't an owner. David Gross is the owner, right? I mean, it just is what it is. So, and I don't know what the structure of the record deal was with Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can guess. I can speculate to say, well, our brother may have still retained ownership of his masters in his deal. I don't necessarily think that it was a 360 deal. I don't know though. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't see the paperwork for that. But as paperwork is now, like I said, this shit all comes down to black and white at the end of the day. And we ain't talking race either. We talking paperwork, black and white. You know what I'm saying? Black ink on white paper. So when it all comes down and the paperwork is now coming out and we're seeing what the facts are, you dig what I'm saying? We're like, okay, my brother went into partnership with a record label. He was an employee of a white corporation at the time of his transition. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z is an employee of a white corporation at the time that David Gross is black? Yes. At the time that, the conversation is coming out about ownership. Diddy does not own Revolt. You know what I'm saying? Oprah does not own the OWN network. You dig what I'm saying? I think that the challenge might be find me an owner.
What was Byron Allen? What was he saying? Essentially the same?
Yeah, he's like, none of these people own any of their entities. They're just the face of it. You know what I'm saying? And then when we finish this conversation about ownership, then the conversation is going to morph to control versus ownership. You know what I'm saying? Because, shout out to the Moors, of course. Is the key to own anything versus control it. And that's getting down to the trust aspect versus the estate, where your shit ends up in probate and everything, like Nipsey's estate is now, like Epstein's estate is. You know what I'm saying? So is the key to all of this to control and never to own? Or is the conversation always going to be stuck on ownership? Because that's an old conversation already. But that's where we at. And we haven't even fully understood that conversation. Because we've been employees for so long. right? And no one has been stressing ownership. Diddy don't own the masters to Big or none of the Bad Boy catalog. He sold that. You know what I'm saying? The Death Row catalogs ain't owned by nobody that looks like us. You know what I mean? So just think about all that we have went through in terms of a society, a community, a culture, how that music has impacted our lives, our realities. We talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We can't directly blame Snoop Dogg for, the degradation and the devaluation of melanated women in relationships. The fact that we don't love these hoes has become a mantra for our people. You know what I mean? But he don't even have an owning stake in that destruction, right? He's an employee of an employee of an employee in that destruction. What benefits the man who sells his soul, right? Going back to the Bible. Don't throw that book out. It's too many gems. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, what have these people benefited from, the shit that, you know what I'm saying, has come out of, the energy and the input. Like, these record contracts are literally like, you don't own your name, you don't own your likeness. That means your face, your image.
Nas said on Drink Champs, Prince told him he wouldn't work with him.
Yeah, I can't work with you
if you don't own your masters.
Until you own your masters, because, you know what I'm saying, you're not in position. You're not bossed up. That's a famous word that gets thrown around this community, this culture, this industry. Bossed up. But what is it? I mean, like, what are the steps? Where are these classes? Again, shout out to Derek Grace. At least he's giving you the blueprints and the steps on how to become an owner. You know what I mean? And we can exhaust that conversation, like I said, and then move to another conversation, which is control versus ownership.
I was watching one of his Instagram videos, and I think he said he don't mess with Amazon or any of them.
None of that.
Do you think that's a little too radical? Should we utilize Amazon if they're the number one company in the world? What do you think about his approach with saying F Amazon?
I think that it makes
no middleman. He's saying
he's all money in, right? And for him, I think it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? For him, and he's moving, from what I can see and what I know, a considerable volume of product, right? Even with the board games, right? He moved a considerable amount of those products. And then there was a snafu in it, you know what I'm saying? It kind of got, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't going, meaning that if he used a corporate apparatus, maybe them games would have went out quicker. So there's still going to be learning lessons and growing pains when you want to take on everything yourself, employ your family, employ close friends. You know what I mean? There's going to be a learning curve involved, especially if you've never handled volume like that. You've never handled orders of that particular magnitude. I had my own issues with orders flooding in, you know what I'm saying? And I couldn't keep up, and I ain't have no employees. So you learn, hopefully, and you grow from these situations so you could be better prepared the next time around. And that's business. You know what I'm saying? That's what business is about. You feel me? This second time around with you, were you more immediate in regards to knowing how to get orders out in a quicker manner? Did you learn? Did you have you had growing pains the first time around, but did you learn and grow from that the second time around?
Definitely.
That's good business. That's good business. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that you are going to need iTunes and Spotify and the rest of them, in the long run, to say, look, that's going to be how I gauge my success, is me coming back with these X amount of streaming numbers? Or are you comfortable to say, look, y'all can come directly to my site, buy my product, and stream it over here, and I can use these analytics when I have to go and have meetings with whoever I'm going to have a meeting with down the road when Project 3 comes out, and I might want to put it on a streaming service.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Would it be better for you to capture the analytics and have it work to your benefit in the long run? Because now we're talking about the long game.
Facts.
Right? So, it just be like how we see the situation that's going to best benefit us. And it's also based on, we have to see what it is that we have that we possess in our networks, and what is it valued at, not now, but 20 years from now, but 30 and 40 years from now. You dig what I'm saying? Like, what do we bring to value to the marketplace, and how can we control that where it best benefits us in the long run? Because the game is definitely about the long game. It's not about short money no more. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't selling CDs no more. That's not the game.
Right.
It's streaming.
Right.
It's for Baby Sirius, his children still getting checks. You feel me? Because after Daddy made transition, the world found out about his catalog. And now there's this interest like, oh, word, they had what? That documentary was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Let me go into the back catalog. And, I mean, imagine where James Brown family would be. My homegirl, right, worked at the company that owned James Brown Publishing. They was on Lexington and 50-something in the brownstone, a white man. She would just pull the cabinet open, and everybody's publishing was in there. He owned mad people publishing. You feel me?
Wow.
So I seen how this shit work. I seen them checks come in. You know what I mean? They was doing, I mean, that shit was going baby on baby. Them checks was crazy. You feel me?
Crazy.
And I'm like, damn, his family ain't seeing none of that. His family ain't seeing none of that. This white man's family seeing all of that. And he paying his pennies to his employees to keep the motherfucking ship floating while he's literally on a ship somewhere, on a yacht somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Coordinating with them on his phone. They doing all the work in an air-conditioned office nonetheless. But they doing all the work. And the pieces of papers in the drawer is paying for all of that. And he ain't had to put in none of that sweat equity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit crazy. Like, we're still not getting we still don't get it. Like, what is this shit really worth at the end of the day? It has value to it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna come along and tell you what that value is, though. It's on us to go and figure this thing out and be like, yo, you know what? You know what type of life that I live, son? I can wake up every day and add value to my long tail. You know what I'm saying? To my long tail. 100 years from now. You dig what I'm saying? It's the flyest shit ever. This is the opportunity that the now affords us right here, right now. We need to be a little bit more serious about the position that we're in. You know what I'm saying? And the opportunities that are in front of us. And this is for the creatives out there. This is for my people who are bursting with talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how this shit get. I've had many hungry nights. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm like, yo, I just want to get on. I want to stop the pain. You know what I mean? I want to pull up. Fuck that. Like, you know. But I had to really, you know, just take a full assessment. You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of documentaries of artists who are telling their story after the fact. Thank you to Drink Champs, because I'm listening to a lot of these niggas' stories. I heard EPMD on or Eric Sermon for that matter on the Breakfast Club saying that them niggas got paid. What he said, $750?
I didn't hear that. What he said? I didn't hear that.
Bruh, they signed and they advance was like $750 or something.
Damn.
They ain't gonna get no royalties. All that, I grew up off this music.
EPMD you talking about?
EPMD, bro. Like, these niggas have horror stories, son. Horror stories. And this was not even like, you could say in James Brown in them days, the mob was in music, present. You feel me? These niggas is getting shook down by what they say, the nigga with the electric guitar, the mountain climbs, right? You got a body count in the streets. You a real one, right? Your thing go off. All for you to come into an office and get whipped over your fucking head with a pencil, nigga, by a paper gangster.
Wow.
So this shit crazy, man.
What do you think? Do you think there's a big difference between, since we're talking about, you know, this new era of celebrities, you know, being woke and entertainers? Is there a difference between how Muhammad Ali did it and how he talked, or how he was for the people versus what we
I got
see
a new
today?
name for that shit. That shit is called contracted consciousness. Okay? Contracted consciousness.
What do you mean by that?
It's like these niggas almost got signed up. We got a career for you post your music career, right? Take 100 of these DVDs. You know what I'm saying? We're going to contract you to come back on this conscious shit. You dig what I'm saying? And talk that talk and walk that walk. The difference with a Muhammad Ali is that he had an organization that he had to answer to, right? It was in his heart because he was amongst the people. So we talking about people that came before integration, right? Well, I think that the way that you was moving and juggling for your people, it was just a little bit more of an honesty factor involved. You know what I mean? It had to be a little bit more of an honesty factor involved. And then we seen this man really sacrifice, right? Yeah. Really sacrifice. He sacrificed the bag. He sacrificed his title. He sacrificed his career.
In his prime.
In his prime. And ultimately, that's sacrificing your family. You dig what I'm saying?
Steve Harvey would be mad at that, man.
Steve Harvey is not with that at all, right? But look at Steve Harvey now, right? So we not having these follow-up conversations. You know, where are they now? It was all good just a week ago.
What's up with Steve? Why you?
He lost both of his shows.
He ain't on TV no more?
Nah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, son.
Well, I thought, word?
Yeah. He might still be on Family Feud, but they, you know, they coming for that too. But they asked him because he was juggling for the bag, and he tried to do a corporate snake move on them by going to a subsidiary to get his shit syndicated or something like that. And NBC found out about it, and they axed him. They chopped him from both gigs, and then sprinkled salt on his name so nobody else is gonna touch him.
He got the nigga wake up call?
He got the nigga wake up call quick. That shit happened like right after he was talking all that crazy talk.
Damn, man, it wasn't even a year and he got the nigga wake up call.
Nah, that wasn't even a year. He got that quick. Yeah.
Well, I know Monique was going in on him.
Monique wrote on him. Yeah, shoot him out. So you said the question about the conscious, you know, because we used to always draw our narratives, right? To say that you know, there was the OJ at the time, that there was the Muhammad Ali, right? There was the Cosby at the time, that there was a Dick Gregory, right? So these were the extremes. Now they're merging the artists to be a combination of both. You know what I'm saying?
Are they merging artists, or is that just where it went? It's just a different era?
Yeah, I mean, they're not merging the artists. The artists have a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, anytime that you set up a society and the pinnacle of that society is the bag, you know, that society is malleable. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see some shit that's going to make you wink like...
Is Colin Kaepernick the closest example of Muhammad Ali as far as sacrifice, would you say?
They're going to kill us for that in the comments. But in this day and time, you know, and they're gonna make the immediate comparisons, right? Because these niggas are sports fanatics, so they're gonna pull the stats out, and they're gonna be like, he wasn't at his pinnacle because his quarterback rating was, and his EP. They're gonna get technical to be like, he couldn't be at his pinnacle because he didn't have a Super Bowl in comparison to Tom Brady and all that stupid shit. No, in terms of where he was at in his personal space in his life. Not where he was at in your quarterback ranking, nigga. Where he was at in his personal space in his life, he made the ultimate sacrifice for social injustice. Right? Which technically is not even an issue that affects him personally. This nigga's a mulatto. Right? And I doubt that he's going to be getting pulled over or any of that shit. So it's something that was in his heart for his quote unquote people, the people, right? And he made a sacrifice for them, right? And he got sacrificed for that. So yes, that would be the closest thing in comparison to that. And then Jay-Z's the nigga, he would be the Mayweather, right? Once they sit Ali down and take the belt, he's going to be the Mayweather to come in the fucking ring and be like, I'll take it, I'll fight. Nigga want smoke, let's go. How much you said? Let's get it. Right? And then there's going to be niggas that watch that fight and pay for it to make sure that his salary is made. Just like there's niggas that's going to watch them NFL games. Just like niggas watch the NFL. The year that Kaepernick was protesting, I told you I had went to Philly that year, right? And it was the game that in postseason that happens before you before you go to the Super Bowl, right? That last game.
Yeah.
Nigga, they was mobilizing that city at 6 a.m. By the time I got there, it was 11 something. And the people, when I had got off the bus, I was like, God damn, like they had babies walking around with the fucking helmets on and shit like that. And I was like, what the hell is going on out here? I thought black people was protesting the NFL. He's like, babe, bro, traffic has been crazy in the city since 6 a.m. They've been getting ready for this game all day. So the same place that Meek Mill come from, right? Because he was championing that team. That team fucked with him. They was playing his music in the dressing room. It came out to his music and everything, right? And he tied that shit into his album Championship, coming out under the same premise of social injustice. And this nigga was already championing and fucking cheerleading for all of his sports teams in that city. So what are you talking about, right? Niggas can't hold no charge. They make anybody that gets on the forefront for the people look crazy in this day and age, right? So with all of that understood, you have to really take an assessment of which way this narrative is going to be like, well, damn, can you blame Jay-Z, right? Or you going to continue standing with Kaepernick as his numbers get thinner and thinner and thinner because niggas had that TV on last year. Niggas had that TV on last year. I was in Atlanta. Niggas was look. Niggas had them TVs on last year, and they showed up to the Super Bowl in the magnitudes. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they showed up, and they destroyed the Kaepernick mural, right? On that Friday, that weekend before the NFL came to town, and they said the NFL was the ones that made sure that that shit took place. They knocked the mural down, bro. Disrespectful. You feel me? And the city took it on the arm to be like, guess what? There's $1 billion coming into town. You think we're going to pass up $1 billion for this nigga? You know what I'm saying? This Kappa Phi Kappa nigga? Come on now. They like you not even Boule.
You know, since, Kaepernick was the reason this whole NFL thing was happening. Do you think Jay-Z should have consulted with him before making an agreement like that with the NFL?
I heard the interview. That nigga said he lied and said that he did. And Kaepernick's shorty said, hell
Nessa,
no.
Yeah, Nessa said no.
She said, ain't no conversations take place. He's lying. I think that once he decided, that he was going to go ahead and make that decision and he probably could not be able to get the co-signing of Kaepernick for public relation reasons. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, I can't put the ball in your court necessarily. I gotta go and do what I gotta do, you know what I'm saying? And deal with the fallout of it. And it really don't look like, you know what I'm saying, he cares too much. Because I don't personally think that this is his I think that he's a figurehead for the company to begin with. So I don't think that it's a personal decision of his anyway. I think that he's kind of being told what to do and how to do it. You know?
Got one more question for you. Then I might take a question from the family before we get out here. I want to thank everybody in the chat room.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Having a good time in the chat. Full moon night. Y'all do your thing tonight. Blueberry full moon tonight. And I got Blue in the building. Blueberry full moon.
With the blue on. We talking about, the big homie.
We talking about
C
Nipsey.
Day, on his C Day, right?
Yes. Rest in power, Nipsey Hussle.
Yes, indeed.
People, I'm sure there's some people who watch my program who are entertainers and they got the so-called bag, or what do they call it? The proverbial bag? What do they call it now? They got paper, in other words. They got more paper than I have, you have, and a lot of the other people watching this channel have. And
I'm worth $1 trillion. Are you serious?
Hey, you right about that. You right about that. But they may feel like you a little bitter, or they may hear people that talk like you and feel like that kind of talk is a little bitter, and there's a little jealousy within that talk because they're sure you had ambitions to be an artist or to be a sports athlete or to be an entertainer of somewhat. So if you was in that position, you might do the same thing they did, but being that you're not in a position, you over-analytical for every move that they make. What would you say to somebody who thinks you a little bitter, Blue Pill?
Oh, fuck. Like, I'm very partial in my observations. You know what I'm saying? I give you both sides of the road. So I don't know where that level of bitterness would be identified to come from. I'm showing you, even with a decision being made such as that, which is unpopular, here's the pros and the cons of it. You know what I'm saying? Here's what people might look at and how they might be looking at it, as opposed to, the very one-sided view to be like, yo, son just sold out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, is it ever really cut and dry like that? Right? I said, look, you saying he sold out, but I'm saying, are you still standing with Kaepernick? Did you watch one football game last year? You know what I'm saying? You peeped, right? When the fucking Super Bowl was on, you peeped, and you might have turned it on at the commercial or turned it off or what have you, but you peeped at least. You know what I'm saying? Did you burn all your jerseys? You know what I mean? Did you throw your Gucci out? I got one Gucci shirt left that I'm not getting rid of. I'm going to tell you. I got one Gucci shirt left, and I'm waiting for this shit to die out because I love that fucking shirt.
Yo, man.
Right?
Man.
We need to go to Atlanta and talk to the Africans with all that bootleg Gucci. They can't move none of that shit no more, right? You fucking up a village in Africa somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay? You ever thought about that? So, yeah, I wouldn't say that I was bitter. You know what I'm saying? So if a nigga told me something like that, I would just, like, that ain't it. Like, we could have a full-fledged conversation. You know what I mean? I could address both sides of the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just one way.
Indeed.
So, I mean, I know who, then I'll redirect them niggas. I'll be like, you want me to show you some better niggas? Let's take a trip to YouTube, huh? I got a playlist for you.
It's
like
playlist of it.
It ain't me, though. You feel me?
Let's get a question from the family.
Yeah,
we got about 15 more minutes on here. Let's get a question or two from the family before Blue Pill get out of here. Give me some good questions. First, y'all should give me another Cash App donation. That's what y'all need to do, family. Make sure you hit up the Cash App.
I got cloth this evening.
Black Magic 363 $, Black Magic 363. Even if it's $1, $2, make sure you hit up the Cash App and send a donation. I have been banned from Super Chat. All right, let's see. All right, this dude here, I'm not. I just talked about the solution thing, and okay, all right, I'm not going through that tonight. We're not talking about Epstein right now. Give me
We did that already.
Yeah. Any good questions, family? Come on, family. No Epstein talk tonight, family. No Epstein talk tonight. Any questions, family?
I mean, that's a good again, you know, that's a good narrative to latch on to, you know, because somebody, they was asking about solutions.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right?
I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, you late to the party. Just like if you're in this chat room asking about Epstein, you're fucking 5 or 6 months late to the conversation because we covered that a year ago. Right? I don't care about the new developments. God damn it, we've been telling you niggas about Epstein forever, for a very long time. Before the fucking indictments came down, we've been talking about Epstein's. We've been talking about his relationship with Clinton and the Bush. I mean, and the Trump and what have you. So you late to the party, as usual. Now you want to talk about the salacious details? No need to. You feel me? You should be more mindful of the information when the shit is lukewarm or even when it's cold. When it comes out of our mouth, pay attention to this shit. Stop jumping on after the fact. Same with the solutions. We've already addressed all of those things. Go into the archive, resurrect that shit, dust it off, and breathe some life into it. You know what I'm saying? So you can come on this program and tell us how that shit has worked for you. Stop talking about, oh, you nigga, solutions have been offered. It's a mountain pile of them waiting for you to activate them.
A mountain pile of solutions for anybody to apply.
Are you serious?
That they refuse to apply. They refuse to apply. So listen, a good question. I talked about this earlier with you. Israel banning the two congresswomen, the representatives, for simply saying that, you know, talking about the mistreatment of Palestinians.
Bro, it's like London or the UK banning Tariq Nasheed. What difference is it? There's no difference. It's politics, right? We don't like what you have to say about us, right? Therefore, we're not playing political diplomacy with you. You know what I'm saying? We're not playing the political diplomacy with you. If we're in charge and we're the gatekeepers, guess what? We're going to close the gate. I mean, what, you know what I'm saying? And what are you going to do? That's what it comes down to, right? And they live in the age of Trumpism. So they can be bold about this shit these days. Closing borders. You can be bold about closing borders because the precedent has already been set, right? And it has not been contested. To the degree the contestment in this country is niggas churning up. That's the protesting in this country that has global ramifications, right? Anything short of that, it's going to get pushed to the bins to be like, look, man, we'll deal with that shit tomorrow, okay? Like, ain't nobody worried thinking about that shit. You're going to, right? You're going to get on Talk TV and you're going to talk crazy about the state of Israel, and you're still not going to get in. And if you do force their hand to get in there, it's like you're going to do it with a handler. You know what I mean?
A couple of people asked about the shooting in Philly. A lot of people feel as though it was fake news. It wasn't real.
I have no idea. I don't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look, you know, I've seen some things and all of that, but it's like,
Uh-oh, this might get Blue ticked off. They said, what's your door on ADOS and reparations? Blue might.
Why would I get ticked off about that? I wish we have an ADOS conference because I got things
I think they had one. Didn't they have one? Yvette and I thought they did. I don't know.
Yeah,
a couple of months ago.
I have things that I would like to share, not in public. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I still think that it's a concept that needs some work. You know what I mean? And I'm opposed to anything that excludes more of a diasporic voice of melanated people, and I'm also opposed to anything that does not target the Catholic Church as the direct cause of slavery, not only in this continent, but again throughout the diaspora dealing with melanated people. So if your research does not go back to the doctrine of discovery, if your research does not go back to the papal bulls, then you need to update your research. You know what I'm saying? You need to update your research, and it needs to be more inclusive of corporations, targeting corporations. If you're gonna be so current about your protests, right? If your shit is only 1600 and beyond, or however, whatever contemporary date that you choose to say these are the damages that were done, you know what I mean? You need to start targeting corporations. And in that inquiry, you might find something out about yourself dealing with your corporate status that might really make you question your political designation. And when I say your political designation, I mean how you identify yourself, right? As black or whatever you identify yourself with. You know what I'm saying? So good luck with that.
Shout out to the Yvette, Cornell, Tone. They said the conference is in October.
She in the chat?
No, they're saying the conference is in October in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
So shout out to them.
Pull up.
For changing the whole political landscape. They basically just changed everything. They changed everything within the Democratic Party with that reparation talk.
All right.
So it's definitely.
I want the family to be mindful, because this is going back to the Epstein conversation. Do your research on Roger Stone. Do your research on Roy Cohn, right? These are the political operatives that utilized people like Al Sharpton during his presidential run. You know what I'm saying? They have created narratives and put them in the mouth of melanated people to play politics. You know what I'm saying? In the ADOS conversation at this time, through those particular players, one of them in particular, I don't think that there's no difference. You know what I mean? She got a European handler who's giving her talking points. And it's one
talking about Yvette?
Yeah, it's one, like I said, that is very skewed because it doesn't really hit the necessary pressure points to get the response or reply. Only thing they doing is, like you said, they agitating candidates. You know what I'm saying? They're agitating candidates. You feel me? But this is all politics, and politics is theater.
All right. Let's get one more question. Y'all got some weird questions. They gonna ask you, where's the next natural disaster coming? Yo,
go to Aquarius Maximus page, because she's been pinpoint on top of natural disasters down to the day, utilizing cardology. But if you niggas went and checked out The Universe is Conspiring when we told you to, you already know that there's people amongst you that can do that type of shit. Okay?
Shout out to Raku.
Shout out to Raku.
Raku, that's a crazy.
Hey, Rashid got an event this weekend on Sunday. I want to shout that out. You could check that out on his page on A. Rashid Art. It's also in my stories on my Instagram. It's in Brooklyn. It's dealing with metaphysics. You know what I mean? So check into that, y'all.
Raku, that's a crazy dude right there, man.
That's my guy there.
You could tell he's on a whole nother frequency, man. Just having a conversation, like he's somewhere else, man. That's what.
That's
he
cosmic.
Be like, man, brother Rich, man, what the fuck is up, man?
That's cosmic energy right there, man.
Like, man, what the fuck is up, man? He like,
if there's a Jesus, that shit, you know, that nigga speaks like Raw Cool, man. Like, fuck is y'all doing down here?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take one last question before we get out of here.
They ain't got no other questions?
They asked about the Netflix documentary. We was just talking about the family.
Family? Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Is that
Red Pill is doing a live on that. She might be doing it right now.
Red was on live tonight.
Yeah. Check out Red after that. You know what I'm saying? After y'all finish over here, or tomorrow, you could download it and check it out. He's qualified to speak for me in that regards. You know what I mean? I wish that melanated people saw the significance and the power of Jesus as a political tool. You know what I'm saying? And we're more willing to utilize it in a clandestine operation sort of way, rather than being emotional and always allowing the world to either see how you feel or hear what you think without it being totally thought out. And what I mean by that is like, yo, we have emerged from a think tank, and I have refined my thoughts to be so sharp that, when I come upstairs and you put a microphone in my face, I'm able to tell you some shit that, is sound. It's more like profound propaganda, as opposed to you niggas always just being emotional and speaking from this place of hurt about what Jesus did to you. Not Jesus, but the people who were abusing that station that you came into contact with, or the fact that you couldn't bring your nana into consciousness with you because she's still in the church. You dig what I'm saying? So I got a project coming out called Christ Consciousness, and I'm going to show niggas how to use Jesus in his proper motherfucking persona.
all right? Too emotional, huh? We too emotional.
Too emotional. I'm just saying, like, where's the black society with the secrets? Where's the black society that is playing politics from behind the scene and making shit move? You know what I mean? Like, where is the play for power? Where is these conversations taking place where we can even identify what power is to go and get it? Right?
Damn, bro. Pardon me. Tariq just posted a video on Instagram. White supremacists in Brooklyn just stabbed a brother up. Damn, we right in Brooklyn. Man, wow, that's crazy. I gotta look into that. Wow. They asked about the white supremacists earlier. Do you think that's something we need to worry about? All the white supremacy talk going around. Do you? I guess that what they were alluding to is, do you think the whole race war conversation? So I don't know if you want to touch on that. That was way earlier, but I didn't bring it up. But
like I said, I spoke on this channel, and I don't want to. Again, I'm not gonna respond emotionally. You know what I'm saying? But I will say things that might ruffle feathers. And YouTube is a very delicate place right now. You know what I mean? But I would say and echo a sentiment that I said the other day, that I don't think that melanated people are suffering from post-traumatic slave syndrome. And I've gone through my narratives and identified, right, with my own psychoanalysis, why I don't think that is, right? Because I have to look at the entire broad spectrum of what's being said to me, and I got to weigh that with the evidence to say, whoa, all of these black inventors, all of these black senators and congressmen, and politicians and business owners that came in the 1800s directly out of slavery, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't scared, right? They wasn't intimidated by no Europeans, right? Europeans had to run down on them. That's what the lynchings was about. They was hanging businessmen, right? We outpaced them in Black Wall Street. How did these melanated people who did not have accredited certification from any universities, how did they become masters of their craft? If you telling me that these individuals came to Oklahoma walking barefoot as slaves for Indians, quote unquote, right? So you telling me that these was barefoot slaves that walked the Trail of Tears with Indians? No, I'm telling you that they were the Indians that walked the Trail of Tears, quote unquote, right? Shout out to Claude Anderson, okay? Always beating up on the Indians, right? How did these people rise to the pinnacles of business in their respective fields where they had jitney services, they had ambulances? How you gonna have a hospital and you were not a graduate of any medical fields? You was not, an adherent of the Hippocratic oaths. How did you have law firms if you didn't have bar? You wasn't a member of the bar. You was a barrister. How did they have jitney services and buses and all types of shit? How did they have all of these things if they was traumatized and because you niggas is traumatized by the stories about slavery, right? By the depictions of slavery, that shit got niggas traumatized. You're telling me that the people who experienced it directly weren't? So what type of niggas is you? You feel me? You niggas are suffering from the inability to act out your aggression that you have with your natural motherfucking aggressor. The fact that your foot is so heavy that you can't lift it to kick this fucking European in his ass to say, nigga, you know goddamn well you deserve this motherfucking ass whooping. Then we could talk about peace afterwards. Okay? The fact that you cannot express yourself in a society that's full of expression, right? These niggas got motherfucking rainbow flags everywhere. They full of expression. And they getting shit done with a rainbow flag. And their shit is not about continuity. They ain't talking about nothing generational. Or I'm leaving this here for my children and none of that stupid shit. You feel me? They're in that shit for today and for motherfucking sexual gratification is what they jugging for. Right? So it's like if we're the fun-loving, family-loving, and we cutting and busting nuts and doing all this other stuff, and like, how you gonna protect that shit? What are you willing to do to tell this nigga to get off your motherfucking back and take his foot off your neck? You dig what I'm saying? So this shit is just, it's ugly at this point. It's ugly, that these people is running down, and the lack of response speaks to fear. You know what I'm saying? It speaks to fear. You not safe. Your woman ain't safe. The babies ain't safe. Nana's not safe. Nobody's safe. But niggas is still gonna party. That ain't gonna stop the motherfucking clubs from not being packed this weekend, right? So what are we talking about at the end of the day, right? Oh, see no evil, hear no evil. Niggas just gonna ignore it like they don't see it, right? Until it's too late. That's whether the threat is real or imagined. You should still be ready, right? You should still have some motherfucking firearms and some firearm training. And if you gonna motherfucking namaste your way out of this shit, you niggas should be getting started right now. There should have been a motherfucking a collection on the Grand Lawn in Central Park this evening under this full moon, calling on the ancestors. If you niggas was gonna namaste and Ogun your way out of this, okay? So you missing all of the opportunities to tap into the source that is going to be your redemptive quality. No, I think that niggas are still waiting on that proverbial Jesus, okay? And ignoring the messianic force that's amongst them in real time and unwilling to tap into that shit. You niggas don't want to see no real smoke, right? Because ain't nobody talking to, or remember, justice or else? Ain't nobody, where's the or else at? What happened? What happened? Look, don't make me the bad guy. All right?
Uh-oh. Blue is angry tonight, family. I think it's the full moon. I think it was the full moon. Blue is angry tonight. Damn. That full moon got Blue angry, man. Shit. Be easy on him, Blue. Blue even going at the nation. I mean, when you say justice or else, what happened to the or else? People gonna assume that.
I'm just saying.
But I'm messing with you. But we get what you were saying.
I'm just saying.
We definitely get what Blue was saying.
The collective sentiments.
Yeah.
Of what or else means as a people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying Niggas is braggadocio. Niggas is, you know, the whole premise of hip hop is built on we some bad niggas. You feel me?
Yeah.
We're here talking about Bloods and Crips and the fact that, you know, in order to get your bones in a society like that, you got to lay some shit down. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
I'm saying none of that energy has ever been focused on adversarial forces. None of that smoke has ever been directed in the place where there's fire. You understand? And that shit is just weak. And as much as the men are responsible, women have to play their part too to call sucker shit for what it is. Right? Because they want to call everything else corny. They want to say everything else is canceled. Right? They want to put their motherfucking sentiments in other places where other people say it don't belong. So why don't they say, yo, this shit is corny? Why don't they say, look, we need men to do X, Y, and Z, whatever X, Y, and Z is. Right? Everybody want to go along to get along. These niggas think they going to be here for another 100 years. And they just trying to figure this shit out. You feel me? And shame on you. You niggas grew up in the church. You don't identify what time we in. If you motherfuckers is allegedly Christians, if you grew up in the church, you've been reading that book all your motherfucking life. But none of this shit sound familiar, huh? None of this shit sound familiar? Don't none of this shit look like nothing that you might motherfucking recognize and identify as those times when you need to be a little bit more assertive with your, you know, your advocacy? So you get all comfortable and you ride and you know, you continue to have a hot girl summer, you know what I'm saying? And you know, see where that shit takes you. You dig what I'm saying?
Listen, man, I want to thank you for coming through tonight, Blue, on this blueberry full moon. Got you, they say you the blue wolf tonight. Got you, got Blue in his bag tonight.
You know, I've been away for a minute, and when I come back, I'm like, yo, maybe they want some truth. Maybe
Right.
they want the raw and uncut. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Maybe they hear the motherfucking clock ticking, and we want to stop pretending like these are conversations that we could revisit down the road. You know what I mean? I'm going to talk to you as if I don't have another opportunity to talk to you. You feel me?
Indeed.
Maybe this is what you need. So.
Indeed, family. Blue's gonna be back tomorrow. You coming tomorrow, right? To do the Patreon? Yeah, Blue will be back tomorrow to do the 444 Decoded on Patreon. Also, stay tuned. I think I'm gonna end up opening up another YouTube channel just in case something, because you know they been messing with me with this one, so I might have to open up another YouTube to have a backup until I'm able to you know, figure out how to start my own platform or whatever. That streaming that to host, what's that called? Hosting videos? What's that? With the servers? That could get quite expensive. That could get quite expensive. So I'm trying to figure out how exactly that works. But in the meantime, make sure you support the Patreon site. And also stay tuned for the YouTube channel. I will be opening up next week. Besides that, make sure you go purchase Holy Ghost 2 on the blackmagicmusic.com website. And we getting out of here, family. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah. Go ahead, Blue.
Goldwater.com, GOLDEWATER, goldwater.com. All right. Yeah, and shout out to the family, shout out to the chat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody who tuned in and took a journey with us under this full moon. At the end of the day, you know, because some people might have come in late, set a plate aside. You know what I'm saying? Set a plate aside. This is the ancestor full moon. If you have a mother, a father, a direct relative who has made transition, or, you know, an ancestor that you know about, that you have heard their stories about, pour out a little something. You know, poem something. Put a little piece of chicken out, a corn muffin, whatever they eat, whatever their thing was, candy or what have you, feed the agoons. Do what you do. Just make sure that you do it. You know what I'm saying? That glass of water and the candle, that's the basics. Shout out to Brother Oba. All right? That's the basics. Just start with that. White, clean cloth on your altar, candle, glass of water. Everything else is accoutrements that you put around that, whether it's a plate with some food. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you could put the rosaries on there. You could put the cross on there. Because, you know what I mean? That's probably what your ancestors, the direct descendants, second, third, fourth generation in this particular landmass were dealing with, right? Don't disregard them. Don't let this consciousness take you away from the fact that you have blood, right, going through your vein, and your ancestors are part of you. Give them what they need so they could give you what you want. All right? Peace, love, and light.
Indeed. On that note, family, we getting out of here, family. Peace. Let me play
I remember when life was better. I remember like I've been alive forever. I remember being born in abundance you never measure. Predecessor from the epicenter, the genetic mecca. I'm a representative of the metal netter. You dead if you never met her. The devil, he never better. I protect the treasure, then the present center. Kemetic was never desert. Do the rain dance, make the weather wetter. A crown is a head antenna. Call me Imhotep, the architect. I'm clever. Break a temple down and put it back together. I remember I was royalty. From the soil where the oil be. Never let the bigger man in me grow from the little boy in me. Been a victim of my loyalty. Let my ego kill the joy in me. That's what ended up destroying me. I forgot the Lord anointed me. I forgot that I was God. I forgot that I was free. I forgot that I was king of the jungle until I remembered I'm me. She forgot that she was God. She forgot that she was free.